Hi there, welcome back to my channel, Scrap and Coffee. I've been spending quite some hours in my studio to finish up this album, but it's done and I'm ready to share it with you. This is the brand new Dewdrops mini album. And like the name suggests, this is the collection that I've been using to decorate the mini album. It's the Dewdrops collection from Stamperia. It's a bit of an older one, but you can use, of course, whatever you want. But to give you an idea of how many papers you need to decorate this album, I've used 2 of the 12 by 12 paper packs and 2 of the 8 by 8 paper packs from this collection to decorate this album. I have a bit left, but I suggest that's about the amount that you will need for it. It's a bit of a bigger album and I'm going to show you everything that's in here. But first I want to let you know that the cutting guide will be available in my Ko-fi web shop. There will be, I think it's 5 tutorials coming to my channel. They will be uploading over the course of the next week and a half, 2 weeks. And the cutting guide will be available against a small fee. Now, as long as the videos are still uploading to my channel, there's like a discount on it because you not have access to all the videos straight away. As soon as all the videos are on my channel, the fee will go up slightly, but it will still be a small fee. However, during the tutorials, I will share measurements with you in the video. I will just speak them out loud. I'm not putting any measurements on screen. So if you want to keep a notebook close by and write down the measurements, you can do that as well. However, if you are willing to support me and get a cutting guide against a small fee, that would be, I will be very grateful, and it will help to get more projects out to you. So that is about the tutorial, the cutting guide, and the videos that will be coming up. So now about this actual album. The pages measures 9 by 7 inches. The cover is a little bit bigger, of course. The cover measures 7¼ in height. I think it's a little over 9, about 9½ inches in width. And then there is a spine that is 2¼ the widest spine. So I made this cover a little bit different with this closure that I've used on a smaller album in the past. And back then I did not put on camera how I've made it. It's really easy, but I figured it would be nice to show you on camera once how I did that. So that's why I chose this cover. But in the tutorial I will also let you know which pieces you need to use for a regular cover, which is, it's not complicated, but you know, I'll talk you through it. And because I made the cover this way, you get a really good use out of your smaller 8 by 8 papers if that's what you're using as well. So I've used a little bit of cord here to keep this closed. I'm still looking for something a little bit better, but it works, but I'm still looking for something a little bit better. I'm going to zoom out slightly, so because there's a lot to get in frame, to show you a little bit better. Okay, let's try it somewhat like this. Where was I? I just got distracted. I had to open up the front door for a package. You might have heard the dog barking. I've wrapped the spines on both sides with the same pattern paper, and I haven't done anything to the back. I have enough paper to do it, but I just didn't feel like it. We can open this up. Here I've used a chipboard frame. I'll show you that in the very last tutorial as well. Not so much how I decorated this, but yeah, the piece that's on here. I've just put some ephemera and stuff on there, just to make that a nice scenery there. And I've used some die cuts to make these tags here with some eyelets. And then you see that there is a short, I have to have that there to focus my camera, but this is a little bit of a shorter piece. And of course this is shorter than the whole album as well. And we can open this all up. And we're going to start on this side over here, which is the front inside cover. I want to tell you about this element is that during the tutorials and decorating, I'm telling you, like, I'm not putting any magnets. However, when you close the cover, the weight will pull on it and it will come down a little bit. So during placing my photo mats in, I did decide that it was better to have some magnets there. So I've hid them under my photo mats. So if you, I suggest you put magnets there, and of course do that then under your pattern paper. I just put some elements in here, like some smaller photos and a photo mat for a 5 by 5 photo. And there was something else that I wanted to tell you. Yes, so the white cardstock in my album represents the photo. So the bulk you see in here is like when you have photos in there. The white cardstock is also placed down with a removable glue, so I can take these off and replace it for an actual photo. So this is just to show you what it would look like and how much bulk is in here with this amount of photos. There is still room to add more, but I was kind of done. So we have some nice area here for some pattern paper, to show the pattern paper. I can pull this down, and like the bottom flap, it's not going to be in frame, but that's just this piece here. I've did here a longer photo mat. This would be for a cropped 3x6 photo, or you can put journaling here, or like smaller photos like I did on the top flap here. So I have the same thing going up here. So here I did that same size photo mat, but I added 2 small 3x3 photos. And here is a 3.5x5 photo. There you can add, I think a 7x5 would fit on here. But sometimes, and I did that more in this album, I just like to highlight the pattern paper as well. And I just put a smaller photo there. These flaps can also come down like this. So here I did just one small 3x3 photo, and I left this blank because sometimes it's also nice to enjoy a little bit of empty space. It doesn't have to be all filled up. And on the bottom, these tags here, or these frames, I have to say, were in the ephemera pack of the collection, and I've used them here and there because I like them. So a really small photo there and a 3x4 down here. And it's a bit sad that the weather is really dark today, so I have to use my my studio light, and it's not the same. So it doesn't do the album justice, but that is what it is. Okay, then this album has 3 pages, and I've combined 2 elements that I've used before in previous projects on a smaller scale or on a different size, whatever. It's not completely the same, but this element that I've used in an album inspired the element that I used in the Simple Life folio that we'll find in here. And then the last page is a little bit of a blend of those 2 elements. So I tried to make a really cohesive book with those elements. That's what it comes down to. So 3 pages, all 3 of them are different. On this first page we have these 2 frames here, pockets. They're actually a belly band that I will show in a second, but here we have a side loading pocket. I've put a 3x4 photo in here. You can add more or some smaller things. Here we have an acetate frame. On the acetate, I've been working with the rub-ons of the collection. I've never done that before, and I wanted to give it a try to use the rub-ons on acetate in an album, and I'm in love with the result. I absolutely, I'm totally thrilled with how that turned out. It's beautiful. So I did that on all of the smaller acetate frames in the album. So like I said, this is actually a belly band, so you can slide things behind here. This is just a 6x4, so a standard size photo that's behind here. But on the back I did, for example, because we can flip this down, try to stay in frame. So here I did a 3.5x5 photo. Here again that acetate frame with a little bit of that rub-on element, and this is just a die cut. And this time I made like a tag, a larger tag behind it. This is not in the cutting guide or in the tutorial, so I will give you that measurement. It's like 4 1/8 of an inch by 8 1/4. And on this side I did a full-size photo with some pattern paper. On the back I did pattern paper, but I can add another smaller photo there if I want to. So all of this slides behind these elements here. I'm not lying, sometimes you need to help it a little bit, like right now, but just, there we go. So that's back. Then we have a larger pocket here. Again, I did a 3x3 photo. I didn't stamp it this time because you can add some journaling if you want to. You can still replace it for a photo, but it's your choice, or my choice, or whoever's choice. And then a larger 7x5 photo, a full-size photo here. On the back I did some pattern paper with a 3.5x5 photo. So just to show you some options on how you can fill that up, use it. I just try to give some inspiration on how you can use the areas in the book. So that's the front of page 1. So now we're going to flip it to the back. Now I want to make a little note on this, the back of the pages 1 and 3. They both have a flap that opens up. So mine is opening up to this side. It's better to have it open up towards your binding, towards the spine, because it's already a pretty long project. Look, it's still fine, it works, but now you have a really long long book. So it's just better to have it opening up to this side. So if you're going to make this album and you are following the tutorial, I'm telling you, when we put these base pages together, that you have to keep in mind that your hinge is on this side, because it was wrong in my head, and you need to have the flap opening up to this side. Make sure that you flip it 180 degrees so your flap opens up to the side where the actual binding is, and you will have a better result. So I put a little note in the video like your hinge is on the other side, so just turn that piece 180 degrees, and then it's yeah, I suggest you do that. It's just better in my opinion. So on this one I've put a pocket, and I filled that up a little bit with some different size photos. Then when we open it, you have a large acetate pocket here. When I grab a photo mat, you see I put pattern paper, but I can just fill this up with some photos or some other stuff that I want to have in there. I just didn't want to cover up this beautiful image for now. And then on the inside of the flap, again, I've used one of the frames out of the ephemera pack to have a photo opportunity, and it didn't glue that completely, so I can still place a photo there as well. This came out of here, and that's page 1. So now we are going to go to page 2. This, if you've seen my Simple Life folio, it's very recognizable because it's basically the same element. We have a large, a little bit larger acetate pocket here, where you can have a photo. Again, that rub on there, just, it's gorgeous. I'm so happy that I've tried it. And this forms a belly band. So again, I just put one full-size photo behind it, but you have space to place way more. And I can flip it open this way. So this is the back of the belly band. I've put a tag behind it. On this side, a 4x4 or some journaling, and a full-size photo on the other side. And like I said before, there is room for way more. A smaller photo there. And then we have a bit of a larger area, and this time I put a smaller photo just with some embellishments. However, when this is lying like this, I can also, and I need to help it slightly because of all the embellishments, but I can pull it open completely like this. And you have that big spread here where you can see all your photos and everything that you put behind. Now when it's lying like this, there is a bit more wiggle room here, but when you close it, it stays in place. It's quite tight behind it because of the way that we constructed it. So when we open that whole part up, we come to this side of the page. Here I did do a 7x5 photo with some bigger embellishments. There we have a 3.5x5 photo, and because I can open it up completely on the other side, I can do the same thing here. And this is just all about the pictures. I don't know, I've been moving my background. That's alright though, but my table is a bit dark and it's already very dark. So all about the pictures here, different sizes. So 7x5 here, 6x4 here, 2 3x4s here, opportunity for journaling, and a 3.5x5 over there. You can fill this up however you prefer, of course, but to give you some inspiration. And on the back of that page, we have that flap, but this time it's going up, so no problems here. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen my little video on how I've decorated this piece. Some smaller photo opportunities here behind a little tuck spot. And when we open it up, a 3.5x5 photo there with some embellishments. And here we have again that large acetate pocket, so I can still add more in if I want to. But I also decided to glue down a small 3x4 photo, so we can still see that beautiful pattern paper. This was my favorite paper from the collection. And unfortunately this wood grain was on the back side, so I couldn't use it too much because I really used the wood grain all over the book, as you can see probably. So just to give you another idea of how you use those acetate pockets, but you can add more that you can pull out and then still enjoy the paper, right? And then our last page, page 3, which looks very similar to page 1, but it's not quite the same. We again have those elements that form a belly band. So this time I did a tag. This one is a little bit too big. I accidentally cut it an inch too long, but it fits. So this one is 9.25 inches long. So I just left it, a full-size photo and some pattern paper on the back. Then I put a small 3x3 photo here and a pocket here. Now you might be able to see that there is a fold line right here on the element. So this is the whole element, there's a fold line here. This photo that is in the pocket is going over the fold line. I need to take it out before I can do anything else with it. And that should be fine. Yep. So this one can stay in, but this one I need to take out. I knew that. I'm also talking about that in the tutorial. So it's something to think about before you add the pocket. And I can flip this up. Now here I didn't want to cover up that beautiful bird, so I did a smaller photo again, and I've made a little tuck spot here where you can just slide things under from the bottom. I just thought that was a bit different, but you can also just decorate it and glue your photos down, right? But again, an idea, it's an idea. So I did a really small 2x3 for some journaling, or you can even put a photo on it. So that is opening up to that side, but I can also open it up to the bottom, and then I have to shove it around a little bit more. So we have a large area here where I did a 7x5 photo with some larger ephemera from the collection. And here I have 2 acetate pockets. Here I did the rub on, here I didn't because I have pattern paper behind it, but I can still place a photo there as well that you would see then. Let's see. Sometimes because of all the different layers, I find it a bit tricky, and also with the light now to find the opening, but here we are. So I can still put a photo there. And this is also still a belly band. So this I have a full-size photo behind it. Oh, I didn't glue that pattern paper down, I realize. So we can open it up like this, and we can also, hopefully I can get that in frame, pull on it and it comes down like this. So then you get that whole spread in front of you. So just something a little bit different, and you can close it again, or you can just open it up like this. So 2 possible ways to do that. So that can go back. So that is the front of page 3. And then, oh yeah, this came out of this pocket. We flip it one more time, and then we have again that flap that opens up to the side. So what I said in the beginning, it's for pages 1 and 3 where you want to flip that piece 180 degrees when you attach it. So this time we have side-loaded pockets on this piece, and I've put some different size photos in here, and this flap opens up. And then I did again that 3x4 photo there, and a 3.5x5 on the inside of the flap. So again, a big acetate pocket where you can add more to it if you want to. So this came out of here. Something is not right with that photo mat, but I'll have a look at that later. And then the last thing that we need to look at, or that we may want to look at, is the back inside cover. I've made a large belly band here, so there is room for a bigger photo mat, bigger photos. I have to be a bit careful because my embellishments are not glued down completely, so I can still remove that cardstock, right? So I did 2 6x4 photos on here. I didn't do anything to the back of this one. I can add a larger photo to it, or yeah, maybe like a collage of some smaller photos. There are so many options there. This photo mat measures 6 3/4 by I think 8 1/4. Yeah. So that I've placed behind this big belly band, room for more. And then there's also a smaller belly band on top of that belly band. So I put a full-size photo behind it. I've made a little tag with some scrap pieces that I had left over where you can do some journaling or a cropped photo. Again, I haven't done the back yet. And then here is an acetate frame for, again, a photo that you can put in there. So that is the back cover. And then we also had that short flap from closing the cover, and for some reason this one is really wants to stick down onto the other belly band, this belly band here. But that does help to keep everything in place, so it's not a bad thing. It's just that you need to help it a little bit when you want to put something behind it. So this last part here is that short flap from the cover. I didn't want it to go to waste, so I've made another acetate pocket there where you can either put a cropped photo like I did. This would be, I think it's 6 3/4, something like that. Yeah, 6 3/4 by 3.5, 3 3/8. You can do that, or if you don't want to crop it, you can put pattern paper behind it. You can have some tags in there. You can even put something in there. And I think I've got this one a little bit on the large size to really have that to slide in easily. I might need to make it a little bit smaller. You can even have something in here that would stick out, because that won't interfere with the closing of your album. So if something is sticking out and all your pages are closed, and you close up your album, that will go over the pages and this one will go over. So you can even have stuff in here that is sticking out. That's not a problem. So you can have this filled up really nice with some extra photos or other things that you might want to keepsake in your album. So this is the whole album. I hope you, I don't know where this came from, probably from the back of page 3. I'll put that back later. I hope you like the album. I absolutely love it. I think it's a really nice design. It's really, I don't know how you say that, like elegant. It's a really elegant album. It could be a wedding album. Or you can give it a completely different feel because you use different corner punches on it. But this is the whole album. So one more, there we go. Small reminder that the cutting guide will be available in my Ko-fi web shop for a small fee. There is a link down below in the description box. Videos, tutorials for this will be uploading to my channel in the next week and a half. And as long as the videos are still uploading, there's a small discount on the cutting guide. So I really hope you like this album as much as I do, that you are joining me in the tutorials and maybe even give a try on making one. For now, I want to say thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next video, and I hope to come back with another project really soon. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.